Welcome to Sarah Likes Pink Pens. This is another unboxing of new pens. It's been a while since I purchased from Myers Pen Company. In this box, there's going to be three new pens. As usual, I thank Alan for sending me all the extra freebies like the stickers, and this one is actually a new sticker for fall. You can see the pumpkins there, and then I love it that the fox jumping over the lazy dog. I am crazy with ephemera, so all these stickers that have been used, I keep them for my journals. For the first pen, I am so excited to share this pretty yellow pen. I am not a big yellow person. I don't own a lot of yellow clothing. So for pens, I tell myself, hey, you don't have a lot of yellow pens. Maybe it is time to grab another one. So this one is called The Sting. It's in the Alpha model. It is one of the OG models that MPC has. For my Myers Penco pens, I typically ask for medium and mostly broad. I'm sorry, yeah, broad nibs. For a while there, I was calling the nibs as bold, but this one has a broad nib. Next up is my very first MK model. This one has the Lady Glitter Sparkles LGS resin, and it's so pretty. I love sparkles and glitter, obviously. And since this was released maybe a couple of months ago, I have not had an MK model. So I asked Alan to turn a couple of MK model pens for me. Definitely chunkier girth compared to the alpha models. I will make a comparison lineup in a while. This last new pen is also an MK model. This one has, yes, pink cotton candy clouds resin. I like this one. It's baby pink with swirls of white and opalescent white, I would say. And oh yeah, and one thing I like about these resins and MPC pens, they're like demonstrator pens. You can see the converters inside and you can see how much ink is left. It's kind of like an ink window. I have several ink pens at the moment on my table, so I'll be lining them up next to the MK. This is the Candy Shop Pink Glitter, and it is an alpha model. So they are both pretty long pens. And if you own a Benu, you know that it's already a pretty big and chunky pen, but it's still smaller compared to the MK and the Alpha model. Next is my Atelier Lucio pen, and then another MPC creation, which is blue, which is a Kensington XL. Now it's a Monte Grappa, and then that little tiny Pelican M200. And then this one is Caffeine Withdrawal, I think that's what it's called, but it is by Zodiac Pen Company. And that one is pretty chunky, but smaller in length. So MPC really get a lot of the resin because they're pretty long and still very comfortable in your hand. If you like big and chunky pens, MPC pens are perfect. They are not heavy. Now I'm inking all my pens and I chose three inks, a couple of Ferris wheel press and one Vinta ink. The first one is for the Sting Yellow. I chose a gold ink with gold shimmer and some sheen. I forgot that the mouth of the bottle for Ferris wheel press is very tiny, so I tried to do the converter and nib dipping method, but I could not get any ink into the converter, so I had to use the syringe to ink up my converter. These syringes are very helpful in filling up your converters as well as cleaning your nibs and feed. So multi-use definitely. And this one is the Ferris wheel press plated gold tresses. Plated gold tress. I am using my A6 original Techo writing sample using this new pen with a bold nib. I can't help but smile looking at this yellow resin. This is my daughter's favorite color. She loves yellow because it says happiness. She says sunny, yellow, happy. I think of lemonade and summer and spring when I see this. I'm not really the type of person to ink up only seasonal colors per se. So if it's fall, I only use browns or oranges. I typically ink up whatever I feel like inking up. So I'm happy with this yellow pen, even though it's already technically autumn. I am an Atlas Stationers affiliate, so I'll be linking some of these inks down below, even the Techo. If you are interested, you can use my code SARAH10, SARAH10, and you can save 10% on your purchases. Next up is my two other pens, the MK models. Spot the freebie good old robot, the tiny robot, which is a paperweight freebie from Hobonichi on the left corner of my paper. Next up, I am looking for the next pen to ink up. I have the Vinta Julia. This one is very shimmery. It is light, so I make sure I use broad nibs when I use this ink. This one I have no issues doing the dipping method and using the nib and the feed and the converter straight down. I do not fill up my converters all the way full. I tend to want to change or feel done with a pen and an ink combo after a couple of weeks. So it's just better for me not to waste ink and probably only fill up to about a third or half of the converter. And typically that's good enough for me. And then it's time to change them up and clean them up. This is my handy dandy cloth rag. It is filled with lots of ink stains. It's like a rainbow there. But I typically just wipe off the excess ink before writing. This one again is Lady Glitter Sparkles, and I'm using Vinta Julia, which is a pastel pink with shimmer. Kind of like a pinkish silver shimmer. Very light. One thing I realized after editing this video is that I did not do a closer look of my writing sample. So sorry about that. But rest assured, I was pretty happy with the pen and ink combo. Again, the Julia is very faint, so I use it sparingly, but I still use it. Do you have any custom pens? If you are interested, try out MPC. Prices are reasonable for a custom pen. You can browse on their website. They have so many resins to choose from, and they also have several models. So this one is the Lady Glitter Sparkles, and look at that. I'm just turning it around and so mesmerized by that resin. Again, Vinta ink, which is made in the Philippines. Next up, the last one. This is the MK model again, Cotton Candy Clouds, and I chose Malibu Blush by Ferris Wheel Press. This does not have any ink shimmer or sheening properties, and the nib for this one is medium. I forgot again, the mouth is too small for Ferris wheel press for me to do the dipping method. So I washed my syringe and there you go. I was able to fill up my converter. Ferris wheel press inks are made in Canada and Vinta inks are made in the Philippines. Ferris wheel press, from my experience, they tend to be drier on the drier side. So I avoid the finer nibs of Japanese nibs. So I go for kind of the Western medium and broad nibs so I don't get upset with the flow. And then when I use my extra fine or fine Japanese nibs from Sailor or Pilot or Platinum, then I make sure that I use my wetter inks like Pilot, Sailor, Diamine. I think they're wetter inks from my experience. Urban, Vinta, Vinta can be wet, but I tend to get the shimmery Vinta inks, so I just use them in my broader nibs just so they don't clog my nib. So that's it for my three new pens. Which one do you like? Which ink pairing do you think is a good pairing or not a good pairing? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.